So here's the thing that happened. Kit Kat got ripped off. A vehicle carrying more than 400,000 Kit Kat bars was stolen while in transit from its production. Aren't we doing that now? See, I spent too much time on the text board, didn't I? We're doing a different story. And who's my guest? Frank Leo. Are you wondering what I'm doing right now?
I am not, Jerry. I just don't know if we can follow up, on your last. It
No.
was.
Sorry about that, Frank. Yesterday, there was an announcement about cutting the development fees on homes. And we talked about it on the show just after the announcement, had a pretty positive reaction to it. But then I saw a statement from you. You sent me a statement. You have a different way of looking at this.
Well, first of all, I think it's a great thing to stimulate building and construction because this is one of our engines that runs our economy. And I think that the more building that's going on, the better it is for everyone. So that's how I start off. But, there are people who are going to be affected by these changes, and it's not only buyers. So buyers will save the $130,000 on your $1 million home of HST plus development costs. So, I mean, we're looking at a substantial savings on a brand new home, which is great. Now, what people don't see is what about the families of homes that are around that area that were competing with those areas who now have to compete and reduce their prices by about $150,000. They've just lost that money.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
Well, that's an issue for those families. And what about the people who bought the new home, the new condo last week? How much did they lose?
Yeah, well, that's always going to happen, though, isn't it? Like if I go, excuse me, if I go to the store and I buy something, let's just say cost me $100, and 2 weeks later I see there's a big sale at the store and they're selling it for $89, I'm just out of luck.
Yes, and that is true. But I've had so many clients saying I'm going to wait till the spring for the market, to go up, and every penny counts for these people, and now they're faced with a situation where the prices have actually been pushed down a bit, and so if you're buying, great, but if you're selling, then you're not getting the full positive effect. You're getting a negative effect to your bottom line, which is your equity.
All right. Well, the big idea that was pushed yesterday is that by doing this, and the announcement, by the way, was attended by Mayor Olivia Chow, Premier Doug Ford, and Prime Minister Mark Carney. So this was, all hands on deck, full frontal attack on housing prices. And so if they can all agree on something, that may be a good idea, or maybe we should be suspicious. I don't know. But maybe a good idea. But we kept talking about whether that gets shovels in the ground. And I'm talking with Frank Leo, real estate broker with Frank Leo and Associates. And you're saying the more immediate result of this will be homes that are already built.
Well, the homes that are already built, they're ready to go. They're going to get sold. They're going to be able to be sold quicker. To get a project done, you can't do that in a year. There's too much time involved to get the processes to start building. And I mean, if you want to sell now, it's going to be very hard to do that in an environment where so many people got hurt by buying pre-construction.
All right. So overall, though, Frank, was the announcement yesterday a good thing or a bad thing?
Overall, I think it's a very good thing because what we need is more shovels in the ground. We need more people working. We need more vibrant economy. And that was one of our engines that was taken away from us. So we need to build it up. Unfortunately, I'm just bringing to light that some people are going to be affected in a negative way because now the equity on their home, because they're competing with these new homes, has to also adjust to to consider the different price point that the new home is selling at.
All right. So you also mentioned in your note to me earlier today red tape, and you just said it takes a long time to get the shovels in the ground. Do you think that should have also been part of the announcement? We're going to put together a hurry up permitting process.
Well, anything that they can do to make the engine work and build more product and have more people working. I mean, we had the most cranes in North America not too long ago, and that was a great, time for construction. And I hope we get back to that point.
Yeah, we used to be able to say more cranes in the sky. It's actually a metric. More cranes in the sky than any other city in North America, including Los Angeles. I was talking, I remember, with Tim Hudak about this when he was working briefly in the real estate world. And I said, well, then how come we have a problem? And he said, because for too long we didn't build enough. But what has come out of that, Frank, is like I'll drive along the Gardner, for instance. I would see this again going home today. And I see, at one point, I could see 7 cranes just looking one direction. And then I wondered, I don't think they're working.
Right. Well, that's the problem. So, you have to keep a system that's going to be sustainable. It was going too fast, too quickly, and it was not sustainable. We have a correction that we're going through right now, and we have to follow through. Part of that correction is now the government putting incentives in to reduce the cost of building. Unfortunately, all the people that purchased before that want to make that move, they're going to be affected by it. And although this is a great move for buyers, sellers that were waiting, they have to realize that they better hurry up and get their home sold because prices are unfortunately being pushed downward.
Someone just wrote a text message here, Frank. House sales have always been volatile. The prices went up when people bid against each other. People can only bid against each other in certain markets. They can't always, correct?
Well, I mean, you don't want people bidding again. That was to one extreme. There was too many people trying to buy, and it was a fear of missing out because the prices were going up so quickly. They wanted to buy before it went up higher, and that's not a good sign. You want a more stable pricing so that people can have the time to make proper decisions and not rush into anything.
How do you respond to this text message? It's still not enough. Prices would have to drop 30% to make this city affordable.
All I'm saying is there's two sides to every coin. The person who buys it for less means that the other person is selling it for less. And if you depend on that income or that amount of investment for your retirement, for, your lifestyle, for everything that you work so hard for, that's not as good. But yes, I agree. If prices go down, it's more affordable, but, it's not as good of an investment, which is a lot of people who have invested a lot in real estate and something that we want to consider as well.
Well, you've addressed this here to some degree, but a text message, what about people who already own their homes? Their homes are going to be worth less. That's only a consideration, I think, if you're about to sell your home. If you're not, and you're going to live in the thing for the next 10 or 20 years, you just watch what happens in the market with amusement or bemusement, whichever you're inclined toward.
That's always the case. If you're not in a situation where you need to consider the issues, then you're fine. But we're looking at helping the people who are involved in having to buy or sell for various reasons, and how is that going to affect their families today?
All right, here's another one. I know you've heard this before. What's the impact that real estate agents have on home prices? Agents push for higher prices, and you see them advertise, and they say that over and over. Seems agents are part of the problem.
Well, I mean, agents are providing a service to inform clients about what to do and how to do it best. I mean, we're there to participate in the process and help in a very complicated, market to not make any mistakes. That said, yes, prices are going up when there's shortage of supply and more demand, and vice versa. And this is what we have a hard time trying to maintain, is that balance of supply and demand that will be consistent.
Yeah, well, the way that works, Frank, I think, is this, and that is that I hate the fact that agents are always trying to drive the price up. But now I want to sell my home and hire you, Frank. Could you drive the price up?
Well, we want to get the best results for everyone, buyers and sellers. So it's helping them. Basically, you don't want to make a mistake. The information is key in how you use it. And so, if you overpay for a property, that's not good. And if you undersell it, it's not good either. So we're here to just educate and provide stress relief in a very stressful situation is what I try to do for my clients, and make sure that they make this move as stress-free as possible, because second to death, real estate moves are very stressful in your life.
All right, so Frank, I'm sorry about my confusion there at the beginning when I thought I was doing a different topic about the Kit Kat heist, but I'll get that all straightened out with Tony Chapman coming up next, and I'll pay you back next time, Frank, by breaking off a piece of my Kit Kat bar.
Oh, you're a good man. You're a good man, Jerry. Thank you.
Frank Leo and Associates, thanks very much.
Have a great day.